From the Bright Landry Hockey Center, the championship game of the 37th annual Women's Beanpot. #1 undefeated Boston College here on the campus of Harvard University to take on #4, 18-4-2 Harvard with Nick Cope, Bill Spalding. So glad you decided to take part of your snowy Tuesday night here with us for what should be a great one. BC beat Harvard 10-2 all the way back in November. Since then, Harvard is 16-2. Over Harvard's last 3 games, the Crimson have outscored their opponents, BU, Yale, and Brown, 22-4. Meanwhile, Boston College just kept on rolling for 25 straight wins.
There's no question Harvard is playing their best hockey of the season right now. Everything clicking offensively, playing great team defense, and they're going to need a full 60-minute performance and nothing less to take down this BC team. Perhaps the best chance this season for a team to knock off the Eagles.
Boston College has won 5 of the last 9 Beanpots, including last season at the Conti Forum. The hosts have won the last 2 championships. For Harvard, a championship tonight would be a 14th in school history and a first since 2010. Harvard ranked 4th in the nation in the white jerseys. #1 Boston College, 27-0-1 on the year in the maroon. We are off and running in the Beanpot championship game here at Bright Landry as Lindsey Fry dumps it deep for Harvard. This is the Harvard top line of Lindsey Fry, Haley Armstrong, and Sydney Daniels. Fry has scored 4 goals in Harvard's last 3 games. She's one of 3 U.S. Olympians on the Harvard squad. Alex Carpenter for Boston College played in Sochi for Team USA as well. Haley Skarupa dumps it on for BC, and it goes behind goal. Boston College's top line, Nick, is so tough to stop. Top 2 goal scorers in the country, Carpenter and Skarupa. Here's a shot deflected wide of the goaltender, Emmerich Mashmeyer, Harvard starter, a member of the Canadian senior national team at the Four Nations Cup. Freshman goalie from Lynn, Massachusetts for Boston College is Katie Burke. She was the starting goaltender for the U.S. Under-18 club last season. Sarah Edney starts it forward for the Crimson. You mentioned almost every player that I've talked about so far has some type of international tie. Well, you go up and down this roster, more than half of these players have played at least the junior level for the national teams.
It's just really incredible, the level of talent. This 4-team tournament, best collection of women's hockey talent in the country.
Carpenter throws one on Mashmeyer. Both sides have made their first line change of this game. Crimson started out with Marissa Gedman, meets Wall and Corey Sullivan at the blue line, and Sullivan takes it along the half boards, going toe-to-toe with Josephine Pucci, another one of those Harvard Olympians, and Pucci takes it out to center ice. Here's Gedman, who was the captain on the Crimson last year. This year she's given way to Michelle Picard. Wrist shot and a quick goal for Andy Anastas. Boston College strikes just a minute 35 in.
This is why the Eagles are so dangerous. Can score at a moment's notice, force a turnover here, stay with the puck after it goes in the air. Great work here by Sullivan along the boards. Just keep fighting, and eventually they work it back in. And when you get in close like that with this team, they can just put it away so easily. That's
Anastas' 3rd goal in the last 2 days. She scored twice against UConn Friday night in the 6-0 win for Boston College. The Eagles get Andy Anastas' 10th goal of the year, and here come the maroon-clad Eagles again. A drive from Kristen Capazanos blocked down by Brianna Mastel for Harvard, and the Crimson work back the other way. Well, Nick, if you're Harvard, what do you do here to absorb the early body blow and counterattack?
I'm not sure you really changed too much. You probably knew the Eagles were going to get on the board at some point, maybe not less than 2 minutes into the game. But Harvard's a sound team. They got to just stick with their game plan, play that sound team defense, and don't feel like you have to do something extra because BC got such a quick goal, so much time to go.
The Eagles lead the nation, averaging about 5.5 goals a game. Harvard is 3rd in the country, averaging 4 goals flat. Face-off in the neutral zone after the puck finds the BC net. Here's that look at Andy Anastas' goal. Nick, what'd she do here?
She just really, it was all started by her teammates, to be honest with you. You had Sullivan there and Emily Field were battling along those far boards, and then the puck sitting there, Anastas able to gather it up and just coast in, and a great look.
Field and Sullivan both get credited for assists on that goal. For Sullivan, the 15th of her freshman season. For Field, the 15th of her senior season. Kenzie Kent keeps it in, another freshman from nearby Norwell, Mass. This BC team has a great mix of talented freshmen and very skilled and experienced upperclassmen. Michelle Picard, one of Harvard's 2 co-captains, pinches Carpenter against the board, and now here comes Harvard the other way on the breakout. Lindsay Fry brings it to center ice, but that's all. Harvard has not been able to get it deep very much yet, Nick. Carpenter, odd-angled shot blocked down by Gedman. Harvard senior from Framingham, Massachusetts, one of about 9 Crimson who played at Noble and Graynow, a prep school out in the Metro West, along with Kenzie Kent, the freshman for Boston College, who also teamed up at Noble and Graynow the past couple of years. Fry dumps it deep. Harvard makes a line change to bring out its second line as Gedman pinches in to keep it alive for the Crimson. Eagles have the game's first 2 shots and the game's first goal. Andy Anastas scored a minute 35 seconds in, and now the Crimson are up against it here at home, looking for their 14th Beanpot Championship. BC looking for its 6th, and it would all have come in the last 10 years. Anastas goes in with Pucci in the corner. Mie Dench for Harvard digs it out, and here's the junior from New York City. Gedman's on the end of a long shift. She gains the offensive end. Ladles one through to Sam Reber. Back to Gedman. Odd-angled shot goes wide of the goaltender, Katie Burke, back behind goal. This is Dench digging through a double team. This Harvard second line was the first line for most of the season. They've combined for about 30 goals through Harvard's first 24 games. Tori Sullivan ladles it in. Freshman second liner. Part of the U.S. under-18 national team last year. Abigail Frazier for the Crimson loses it. Thanks in part to that strong forecheck. Katie Leary backs one on goal. Here's a wraparound in front from Capizano that bounces to the point. Kalia Johnson keeps it in. Dana Trevigno canceled out on a stick check by Reber. This BC forecheck's been relentless early. Johnson's shot's deflected over the crossbar, and Kate Leary's back on top of it again. Leary, a senior from Seabrook, New Hampshire, lost her footing, got it back, and pinches the puck into the corner. Crimson take it away with Carly Heffernan, and she's able to ladle one into the corner and get a line change 5 minutes in. All BC in the early going. They have the game's first 4 shots.
They're so quick, and you notice Harvard's playing catch-up a lot in their defensive zone. Here come the Eagles again.
Rister from Capizano sticked aside by Mashmeyer. You'd expect to be busy today. Boston College leads the country, averaging about 41 shots a game. The Eagles again keep it in on a forecheck. Here's Carpenter working 1-on-3 behind goal. Spins around Edney, gets to the goal mouth. Carpenter probes, centering feed. Rister from Falzer's denied by Mashmeyer. Emily Falzer, the top scoring defenseman in the country, 7 goals and 28 assists through 28 games. Turns with speed, and she gains the zone. Falzer to the circle, centering feed, blocked by Edney. Falzer on the wraparound, sends it in front. Mashmeyer got a piece, and the Crimson clear it out about 6 minutes in, and those waves of Eagle forwards just keep on coming. That's icing on Harvard, and a face-off back to the BC end.
Feels like Harvard is just hanging on right now. BC is so fast, and you can just feel it here. Harvard is just a step behind. They're chasing the puck, unable to anticipate where it's going right now. And BC is just a step ahead every time.
Mashmeyer, another save, and she covers up the 8th BC shot in the first 6 minutes. Now, Nick, there have been some consternation in BC circles over the past few weeks. They had some closer than expected wins against some of the bottom half Hockey East teams like Vermont and Providence. Well, they came out with a vengeance on Friday, beating UConn 6-0, and they have started with so much energy early on here today, battling for the 37th annual Women's Beanpot Trophy.
Well, it's easy to maybe it's hard to get up for those games against the bottom of Hockey East teams, but Beanpot Championship, nothing else will get you up. Man, this is some start to this game.
Crimson try to turn their forecheck up. The forecheck's been a key to Harvard's success under head coach Katie Stone, who coached the U.S. Olympic team last year. Pucci in the high slot, wrists one on goal, and Burt makes her first save on the first Harvard shot of this game. Well, for the first 6:34, top-ranked Boston College has certainly looked the part. Eagles get a goal early from Andy Anastas, and Boston College has a 1-0 lead in the championship of the Women's Beanpot. Back here at the Bright Landry Hockey Center, the ECAC's top squad, Harvard, currently just sneaking past Quinnipiac in the standings against the Women's Hockey East's top squad, Boston College, also right now top of the polls, #1 in the country, 27-0-1. And Boston College, Nick, starting with a sprinter start, a 1-0 lead, and they have 8 of the game's 9 shots.
Harvard hardly unable to get the puck into the BC zone for much of those first 6 minutes, and it's sequences like that that are really going to wear down the Crimson if they can't find a way to battle this BC forecheck.
This one's rocketed into the offensive end by Carpenter. Leads the nation in goals and assists. 27 goals, 35 assists through 28 games. Lindsey Fry into the offensive end, slams on the brakes, throws one through traffic, and it skips into the corner. Carpenter was actually held without a point in the 6-0 win against UConn Friday. That was the first game this season that she didn't have either a goal or an assist. Here's a backhander in front on Kenzie. Kent's opportunity goes wide of goal. Sarah Edney and Kent go back into the corner. Skarupa has it, the junior from Rockville, Maryland, is second in the country with 24 goals. She had the game winner against Northeastern in the Beanpot semis. Here's Trevigno feeding the point, and this skips right out to the neutral zone where Kalia Judson recovers. Junior from Chandler, Arizona, sends it deep. She was part of the U.S. Under-18 program a couple of years ago, won a silver medal with Team USA. Here's Picard, the third of the 3 U.S. Olympians on this Harvard squad, along with Pucci and Fry. Picard called the best defenseman in the country by Harvard head coach Katie Stone before this season, and she's been tremendous this year. Her plus-minus is +22 to this point in the season. BC keeps the pressure alive. Edney battling forward up against the corner, and now play blown dead as the net skips off its moorings.
No one was there, really. Didn't see anyone touch it. Did a game here a couple weeks ago, and they're having a lot of problems with this net here. That's currently behind Emirates Mashmeyer. Had to re-drill holes a couple times. Didn't have any problems with it in a consolation game, but we'll see if it happens again.
Consolation game that was won by Boston University today. The Terriers with a 2-goal win over Northeastern. First Beanpot win in 4 seasons for Boston University. They were riding a 5-game Beanpot losing streak. Dench for 4th-ranked Harvard's into the offensive end. Here's Mie Dench sending one through and nobody home for the Crimson as that bounces into the corner. Emily Falzer digs it out for BC, plays it to the point, doesn't get it across the blue line. Falzer on his second effort sends it out, and Pucci turns it around for Harvard. Gedman drops it back to Pucci. Josephine Pucci missed the first half of this season to focus on finishing up her academic requirements. In the 14 games she's played with Harvard since the break, a plus-minus of +18, 2 goals, 7 assists for the senior defenseman from Pearl River, New York. Pucci settles it down and finds Gedman. Dumped deep off the boards, and this skips right in behind goal. Katie Bird will watch it go, and it's tracked back down, and the Eagles start the breakout with Tori Sullivan. Sullivan sends this one the length of the ice, and that is icing on the Eagles. Sullivan, one of 3 freshmen on this BC roster who played on the same club team in Michigan, the Honey Baked hockey program, one of the top junior programs in the country. They won the junior national championship last year. Sullivan, along with Andy Anastas and Megan Keller, all part of that program in their prep development through Michigan. Rister from the point for Heffernan, and a rebound score! Lexi Lang has the Crimson knotted up at 1. The Harvard freshman off a rebound from Carly Heffernan, and we're all knotted up.
Great drive. It looks like it's Mary Parker on the back post, actually.
Yeah, Parker picks up the rebound. So Parker knocks it home. The team leader in points has her 13th pick off that Heffernan slap shot. The rebound skipped right out there, and both Lang and Parker were waiting for it.
Now Parker is sitting right there. That was a very rare. They're actually going to take another look at this, but it looked like a good goal on the first replay we saw. Very rare, juicy rebound given up by Katie Bird, and has to feel good if you're Harvard to get that equalizer back after BC dominated before that first time out.
Officials will look at it if it stands. What a momentum burst for Harvard after BC had really dominated the first 9 minutes, 8 seconds. Eagles have a 9-3 advantage in terms of the shots on goal. Officials will give it a good long look. Katie Burt, the freshman goaltender from Boston College, has had a tremendous season. She's 5th in the country in save percentage, second in goals against. And Nick, one of the most impressive things about her is that she has that high save percentage, even though she'll go through periods in this game where she won't see a shot for 5, 6, 7 minutes. She's been able to keep focused and still stop 95% of the shots she's faced.
Unfortunately, by this time of the season, she's had enough time to get used to it, and I'm sure maybe it was a little bit of a learning curve for her here. As a goaltender, she went over 5 minutes without seeing a shot come her way in this game. And that was just a big slapper by Heffernan from the high slot. A great job by the Crimson, the forwards there, Lang and Parker, to follow it in. It's imperative that Harvard crash the net any opportunity they get. Really looking at this, I don't know if Parker maybe her skate was right there next to her stick. That's the one thing we didn't see in that first replay.
We'll see, yeah, maybe a kick, maybe a crease violation, but the officials want to make sure they get a clean look here. It's a big call because it can change the momentum of this game one way or the other.
We'll be able to get replays as soon as they are done looking at them.
If it stands for Mary Parker, she's put together a really impressive run over the last few weeks. Up to 13 goals, 14 assists, had a hat trick in Harvard's win 7-1 against Brown last time out. And on a team with so many talented offensive players, the junior Parker leads the team with points.
We were talking before the game and before the season, if you were to venture a guess as to who would be the leading scorer for the Crimson this year, Parker probably wouldn't be in your first 5 names you mentioned, because you've got players, especially that second line, Dench, Reber, and Crow, who produced so well last year. Lindsey Fry coming back, Daniels has been good, and then Parker has just been tremendous.
Here come the call from the officials. A point to the circle means the goal is good, and the goal is good. It's a 1-1 game on Mary Parker's 13th goal of the year. So we got a brand new game here in the championship of the 37th annual Beanpot. The officials will explain things to Boston College coach Katie King-Crowley. And we're back 1-1, level ground, first period, Nick, between undefeated Boston College and 4th-ranked Harvard. Deep dump in from Boston College's captain, Emily Falzer. Maschmeyer plays it out of her goal. Fry and Falzer battle for it along the half boards. That's an aggressive line from the defenseman Falzer, coming all the way down to the corner on the pitch. The car diagonal pass hits Fry on the tape. Touched along to Sydney Daniels. Here's a drive, and Burt watches it go wide. Crimson keep it in with Edney. All of a sudden, a little bit of wind at Harvard's back after the strong BC start. Cleared to center ice. Race for the puck between Kenzie Kent and Michelle Picard. And Picard, the junior from Taunton, Massachusetts, is there first. Kent, though, gets it back on the forecheck. First line out there for BC, Carpenter, Skarupa, and freshman Kenzie Kent, who has 25 assists in her first season. Certainly helps when you have talented finishers like Skarupa and Carpenter on your line. This is Skarupa to the offensive end. 24 goals for the junior. She wrists one on, and Maschmeyer gloves it to make the Harvard save. 9:47 to go in period 1. Pretty good start between Boston College and Harvard playing for the Beanpot Championship. Crimson knotted up on a Harvard goal off the rebound from Mary Parker. Emmerance Maschmeyer turns aside a couple opportunities as well. 1-1 in the Women's Beanpot Final. Plenty of delicious treats here at the Bright Landry Hockey Center for the Women's Beanpot Championship. Nothing tastier than that Beanpot trophy, though, at the end of the night to the winner here. Number 1, Boston College. Number 4, Harvard. A save right out of the timeout for Emmerance Maschmeyer, turning aside Lexi Bender's shot from the point. With Nick Cope, I'm Bill Spalding. Nick, Boston College got off to a flying start. Scored 1:35 in from Andy Anastas. Had the game's first 8 shots. But Harvard has 3 of the last 6 shots. Crimson have tied things up on Mary Parker's goal. And now do you get the feeling that we're getting towards level footing here between these two teams?
I think Harvard has settled down a little bit, certainly very amped up on their home ice. A chance to hand BC its first loss of the season. A little bit of jitters coming out. BC's got a pretty vocal student section right here in the offensive zone, and that really gave the Eagles a boost. But now that we've settled into this game a little bit, it seems a lot more even.
Samantha Reber, Harvard's second line out there. Hillary Crow pokes it along into the corner. Crow is senior from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. 10 goals, 7 assists on the year. Dench plays it out in front, poked by Burke. Crow curls it back into the corner, and Reber tracks it down for Harvard. You mentioned the student section for BC. Great crowd on hand tonight, considering 20-plus inches of snow yesterday, more than 6 feet of snow the past 17 days, and the public transit, the MBTA, is shut down today as well. Yet it looks like we still got close to a couple thousand fans here at Bright Landry today. Kate Leary into the offensive end for BC. Backhands one wide of Maschmeyer. That flickered through the air, interestingly. Trevigno plays it to the point, and it bounces back out to center ice.
Not so many times you're going to see a backhander like that from the slot. I think that's why everyone was so surprised, Maschmeyer included.
Megan Keller, freshman from Farmington Hills, Michigan, pulls a little spinorama to get around Lexi Lang and play it into the corner. Both these teams have very talented scoring defensemen. You don't have to just worry about the 3 forwards on the ice. For each of these teams, their 6 defensemen are all very capable of putting the puck in the back of the net as well. Here's Brianna Mastel, Harvard sophomore defenseman from Wallingford, Connecticut. ECAC all-rookie performer last year. Lexi Lang plays it on and now runs directly into Andy Anastas, who scored the first BC goal. Crimson had a hard time today breaking out of their zone against this relentless BC forecheck. Eagles again fight forward along the blue line, where Parker, the Harvard goal scorer, turns it back to Abigail Frazier, and finally the puck breaks the blue line. Frazier plays it forward, right back to Boston College's Emily Falzer, and out to center ice. Tori Sullivan plays it deep for the Eagles, and here's Frazier again for Harvard at the end of a long shift. Tries to find Heffernan, it's batted around by Emily Field. Slap shot from the point, Maschmeyer gloves and holds with 7:36 to go to allow her team to make a line change.
You mentioned that BC forecheck, and Harvard, every time they try to clear it, they're going to the outside of the boards. BC knows that. They're attacking them hard. One day we'll see. Maybe Harvard can find a lane up the middle of the ice. Obviously, they don't want to make a costly turnover. But that's something they could maybe exploit as this game goes on.
Dangerous top line out there for BC, but Harvard's first line matches the Eagles and forces the puck back the other way. Sydney Daniels out there, part of Harvard's first line, is one of Harvard's more physical forwards. A good matchup against BC's top line. We have a delayed call coming on Harvard. Icing blows it dead, and the Crimson will go short-handed for the first time tonight. Just as I mentioned, Harvard trying to match BC's first line with physical play. An easy hooking call on Haley Armstrong.
Armstrong reaching in with the stick there. And BC's power play is so good.
Eagles at 20.4% of the power play this year. That's good for 10th in the country. Harvard's penalty kills at 85%, but that player who's in the box now for slashing, Kaylee Armstrong, is a key cog in the Harvard penalty kill. One of the best defensive forwards in the country, was the ECAC Defensive Forward of the Year 2 years ago. Emily Falzer's a player to watch in the power play, real facilitator at the point. She gets it off to Carpenter. Leary holds. Carpenter, the nation's top scorer, takes it back. Here's Leary at the office. Carpenter, centering feed right through the goal mouth and out to neutral ice. Crimson plop a couple of new penalty killers out there. BC keeps its top power play unit on the line. Minute 25 to go, and the slashing penalty against Armstrong, the first penalty of this game. Fry muscles it along out to center ice. Falzer just ahead of the oncoming Mary Parker, who is a runaway truck there and gets the puck first behind goal. Eagles take it back, but not before Parker killed off a few more seconds. Just a minute 7 to go on this Boston College power play. Falzer's has her pass intercepted. Here's Sydney Daniels to the offensive end. Daniels, high slot wrister, right to Burt, and she covers up. 57 seconds to go on the Eagle power play. I think they got set up quickly, but haven't been able to do much since those first 20 seconds or so.
Good by Daniels, short-handed. On the other end, they had one great look there. That centering feed, Bender was sitting there wide open. She kind of snuck in behind Edney and Picard, who are guarding the front of the goal. But they just couldn't find her there.
BC has sent out its second power play unit. Here's Kenzie Kent working into the offensive end. Kent, Field, and Anastas are the forwards on this power play unit, along with Trevigno and Keller. 4 forwards, 1 defenseman in this second power play unit for BC. Knocked free by Sydney Daniels, who loops it around the board. It boomerangs to Pucci. Uses her 9-iron to send it the length of the ice, and Harvard can send out 4 new penalty killers with 20 seconds to go on Boston College's first power play of the game. Last year, Harvard was tops in the country on the penalty kill. This year, they started the season very slow. Through the first 6 games, they were only at 75%. A steady climb has brought that penalty kill percentage up to 85%, and they're 1 for 1 today, as here comes Armstrong back to even strength. No shots on goal for Boston College on the power play. Harvard got 1 shot shorthanded. Emily Field to the offensive end for number 1 BC. In a 1-1 game, she wrists one on, and Mashmeyer sticks it aside. Here's Sarah Edney, an all-ECAC performer last year at defense. Great pass to Carly Heffernan. Heffernan with speed, works to the corner, tries to get it to Lang, and she's spun back around. Now Lang takes it behind goal and plays it along. 2 freshmen and a junior on this third line. Lang and Heffernan, 2 of the top freshmen in all of the ECAC this year. Heffernan played for Team Canada U18 last year, and Lexi Lang played for Team USA's U18 squad. This is Ladle, the bouncing puck into BC's offensive end. Mastel gets to it first in the corner, finds Frazier along the half boards. Good stick work from Heffernan to find Frazier again, and now Fry gains the zone, sends one through, and it rolls right behind goal for Frazier. Has Mastel calling for it at the point. Brianna Mastel gets it, finds Sydney Daniels near side boards. Fry takes it back. She had a hat trick on Friday night for Harvard in a 6-1 win over Yale. Sydney Daniels plays it in front, and Burt smartly dives on top of it to cover it up and stop play with 4:04 to go in the first period. Well, BC punched, Harvard countered, and now we're locked at a 1-1 game with 4:04 to go here in period 1. Women's Beanpot Championship on the line between the top-ranked Eagles and 4th-ranked Crimson. Now, it's been some kind of year for Boston College. 27-0-1 in the season. Perfect 17-0-0 in women's hockey East play. In fact, the only blemish on the record, that draw came in the 3rd game of the season against the top 10 St. Lawrence squad. On top of the 27 wins, only 3 of Boston College's wins have been by 1 goal. Their margin of victory averages 4.5 goals a game, but they're locked in a 1-1 game with Harvard here in the 37th annual Beanpot Championship from the campus of Harvard University. Alongside Nick Cope, Bill Spalding, glad to be with you. Boston College scored a minute 35 in. Andy Anastas lit the lamp, her 10th goal of the year. Harvard answered with a Mary Parker goal off a rebound. It was Parker's 13th of the season. Came at the 10:08 mark, and we've been locked in a 1-1 draw since. Shots 12-4 in favor of Boston College. The maroon-clad Eagles work it out in their own defensive end as Hillary Crow applies a Harvard forecheck. Crow knocked it free. It bounces back to Kalia Johnson, and she clears it out to center ice. Here's a break in, centering feed. Capizano's canceled out. Josephine Pucci stepped in front. Leary turns and sends one wide of goal. Comes back to Carpenter. A little bit of a hodgepodge line out there right now for BC as Megan Keller risks one wide of goal. You have Carpenter, the first line forward, and 2 second line forwards out on the ice as well. Crow dances in her own end and finds Reber on the breakout. Beautiful pass to lead Reber in neutral ice. Reber right circles, canceled out by Keller. The tall, lanky freshman turns her around. Capizano lays it deep. Sophomore from Oakville, Ontario, who won a gold medal with Canada's under-18 squad a couple of years ago at the World Championship. Carpenter spins around. Here she is at the slot. Alex Carpenter shoots, and Emmerance Mashmeyer smothers it for her 12th save of period 1.
There you see the respect Alex Carpenter garners, able to work on her backhand. She's on her backhand. You usually see players go up and challenge her, and she's just able to work all the way around the zone and then get a forehand wrister off.
Carpenter was tied for the U.S. lead at the Sochi Olympics last year, playing for Harvard head coach Katie Stone. Had 4 goals and a couple assists as well for Team USA in their silver medal winning campaign. Megan Keller of BC turns it around. Top-ranked Eagles have won 25 straight. They're the defending Beanpot champs. They've won 5 of 9 Beanpots. Harvard is second all-time in Beanpot wins at 13, 3 behind first place Northeastern. But Harvard hasn't won in 5 years. Here's Sarah Edney digging it out. Runs directly into Kenzie Kent. This Boston College forecheck continues to give Harvard fits, though Edney's back on top of it at the blue line. Bounces one forward, it ricochets to Edney. Slap shot is just wide of goal as she went for the far corner. Armstrong rifles one right back through into the corner, and here's Daniels collapsing in for Harvard. Takes a bounce off Daniel's skate and comes around to Andy Anastas. Mary Parker stands Anastas up, finds Heffernan in over the blue line. Heffernan odd-angled shot, and it goes wide of goal. Still just 4 shots on Katie Burt. The freshman from Linz had to make just 3 saves for BC. Eagles out shooting the Crimson 13-4 in this first period with about 90 seconds to go. Brianna Mastel ricochets one hard off the boards to Parker. She dances for it, but it's jabbed the other way and taken by Lexi Bender. Into the offensive end, Tori Sullivan drops it back. A spin for Emily Field, senior from Littleton, Massachusetts, and it's ladled back by Mastel. Parker shovels for it up along the half boards, tied up shoulder to shoulder with Field, and BC comes away with it with Trevigno. 57 seconds to play in the period. Mashmeyer leaves her crease to lay it off for Brianna Mastel, sophomore from Wallingford, Connecticut. Played at Schroet Rosemary Hall down in the Hartford area. Keller, good pass forward, finds Field, the BC captain, just over the blue line. Field in the circle, gets to the slot, and her shot's blocked. Hillary Crow got the stick in there. Gedman breaks out with some space. A 3-on-3 for the Crimson if they hurry. Long pass for Dench is impeded. Field got her stick on it. BC takes it back with 25 seconds to go. Almost a turnover. Instead, Dench gets it along the half boards. Dangerous moments there for the Eagles with some sloppy passing in their own end. 15 seconds to go in the first period. Reber has it tied up tight for Harvard along the half boards. It pops out for Dench, working on goal. Dench shoots high over the crossbar. Bucci keeps it in with 3 seconds to play, spins around to the circle, 1 second to go, can't get the shot off, and that does it for an entertaining first period. Boston College really dominated the first 10 minutes, had the first 8 shots in the period, and scored the game's first goal. Since then, though, Nick, we've seen BC come through with 5 shots, Harvard with 4, and the game's been knotted up with 1.
One thing that Harvard really needs to improve upon, they did a better job in it towards the end of the period, not only breaking out against the forecheck, but even being able to have some sustained possession in the offensive zone and force the Eagles, when they get over the red line, to dump the puck a few times, and that'll help neutralize the forecheck a bit. I think that's the key to help neutralize the forecheck. So goals in the period for Andy Anastas of Boston College and Mary Parker of Harvard in the 37th annual Beanpot Championship game. We are knotted up at 1 after a period on ESPN3. What a fun first period in the Women's Beanpot Championship game. Top-ranked undefeated BC got off to a puncher's start against number 4 Harvard. Goal for Andy Anastas right in. And Nick, early on, it looked like Boston College was going to run away from Harvard and build a huge lead. Unbelievable pressure for about the first 8 minutes of this game, and the first 8 shots, and this is the chronological order here. You're just seeing BC chance after BC chance, and Mashmeyer was really on her toes. The whole Harvard defense was a step behind, and then they were able to change things there and got this goal for Mary Parker that gave them a big boost midway through the period. And from that point on, Harvard was able to get the puck out of their own end better, have some sustained pressure, and now it feels like they're on a much more level playing field after 1.
The shots started 8-0 BC. They ended 13-4 Eagles. So still Boston College had the bulk of the puck in the first period, but in the last 10 minutes, shots were 5-4 in favor of the Eagles. 12 saves for Harvard's Emirates Mashmeyer, 3 in the early going for Boston College's Katie Burt. There was a good chance late in the period for Harvard's Samantha Reber that just flew over the crossbar. But when you look at that full 20, Nick, what's your takeaway? What are the biggest adjustments you'd expect the coaches would make?
For Harvard, I think they're going to have to try and figure out a way to just cycle the puck more when they get it into the offensive zone. Try and wear down BC just a bit, so the Eagles, when they break out with the puck, they have to dump it and make a change rather than dump it and chase and continue the forecheck. That was the problem for Harvard. Not enough sustained offensive pressure, and the puck was just coming right back down into their own end.
About to start the second period here at the Bright Landry Hockey Center. 1-1 score between 27-0-1 Boston College, winners of 25 in a row, and 18-4-2, number 4 Harvard. Battling it out for the 37th Women's Beanpot Championship. It would be Boston College's 6th. It would be Harvard's 14th. The Eagles got a goal from Andy Anastas, just a minute 35 in. Harvard got a goal 9 minutes, 8 seconds in for Mary Parker to notch things up. With Nick Cope, I'm Bill Spring. Spalding, glad to be with you. Boston College has played here at the Bright Landry Hockey Center 9 times. The Eagles have never won. They are 0-9-1. Make that 0-8-1 here at the Bright Landry Hockey Center. That won last year, a 1-1 draw when these teams played. Just an epic back and forth, wide open game in the last game before last year's winter break that featured 2 NCAA tournament teams. Underway in period 2, Harvard in white, Boston College in the maroon. Eagles winners of 25 in a row, Harvard 16-2 in its last 18. It's a hard drive from Emily Falzer of BC back behind Emirates Mashmeyer. Your goalies here in period 2, still Mashmeyer for Harvard and Katie Burt for BC. Kaylee Armstrong chips it out for Harvard deep, but this is icing. Had a bit too much mustard on it and rolled out over the red line.
Harvard is one of 2 teams left in the country undefeated at home, the other BC. Well,
BC undefeated everywhere, 13-0 at home, 13-0-1 on the road, and a shocking 17-0-0 in women's hockey East play. Just 3 one-goal wins this year for the Eagles. They win their games by an average of 4.5 goals per. Harvard, though, 3rd in the country in goals for and scoring margin. Harvard wins its games by an average of about 2.5 goals a game. Crimson won their last 3 games by a combined 22-4. Alex Carpenter into the offensive end for BC. Runs into Kenzie Kent. We have a delayed call coming on Harvard. Samantha Reber may have laid a blow in there as well. This is sticked up into the seats. And we'll see who takes the penalty for Harvard.
And you look at it here. Daniels going in. Just kind of put her arm out there. I think it's probably more bracing, and it's tough to tell, but the way Kent fell down, it just needs a reaction that you have to call the penalty, especially when you see the arm extended from Daniels. 1
minute into the second period, Boston College has its second power play of the game. Top-ranked Eagles are 0 for 1 with the man advantage. Here's a shot on goal. Mashmeyer sticks it into the corner. 10 seconds gone on the body checking penalty on Sydney Daniels.
The body checking says just that. It's not interference, but because she extended the arm.
Tap across the goal mouth, and Kent can't settle it. Has to play it back along the corner. Emily Field crashes in, gets it back to Kent along the half boards. Boston College did not get a shot on goal in its first power play. Already have one here in this second. Keller sends it through, deflected wide by Carpenter, and right back behind goal. Andy Anastas cycles it along the half boards, and now Kent comes to help her out. 40 seconds gone on Daniels' penalty, the second of this game on Harvard. Anastas bumped off the puck. That's tremendous work by Sam Reber to send it back the other way for Harvard. Crimson about halfway through the penalty kill. Eagles still 0 for 1 today on the power play. A chip out from Pucci, and it's a hand pass as the Eagles' Anastas played it with her mitt.
She's trying to glove it down, but just a bit out of her reach, ended up knocking it forward. And so now that's huge for Harvard, going to bring this puck all the way down towards Katie Burt's side of the ice.
Does allow BC to cycle out its top power play unit. Top 2 goal scorers in the country, Carpenter and Skarupa, out there along with Bender, Falzer, and Leary. Harvard ladles it deep. Their penalty kill looks like this. Lindsay Fry and Mary Parker up top. Sarah Edney and Michelle Picard playing at the defenseman positions. Skarupa with plenty of open ice, slides one to Carpenter. She speeds into the offensive end. Alex Carpenter, 27 goals, 35 assists this year. Good feed to Falzer, and her wristers kicked aside. Mashmeyer has her 14th save of this game. Crimson get to the loose puck, and here's a clearance from Fry. Harvard makes a line change, cycles out 2 of 4 new penalty killers. Picard still out there on the end of a long shift. Fry helps her out and goes to a knee to clear it again. Just 15 seconds left on this Boston College power play after Sydney Daniels' body checking penalty. Balzer works slowly. Time for one odd man rush for BC if they hurry. Pass too long for Carpenter, and Pucci puts an end to the BC power play with a clearance. Eagles 0 for 2 with the man advantage. Skarupa works her way over the blue line, and that is offsides. So 2 shots on the power play for BC, but Nick, it's a momentum win for Harvard to get a quick penalty kill early in period 2.
Well, there are really no good looks, great looks for BC, and they never really felt like they were set up on the periphery a lot. Harvard did a great job, tight box in front, and then the last half of that really able to just kill it off hardly on their own end at all.
Marissa Gedman bumped off the puck. Here's Emily Field, senior captain for BC, plays it to the point. Kalia Johnson sends one through. Mashmeyer the save. Rebound thrown in front. Nobody home in maroon and gold. Crimson clear it away. And here's Fry tapping it forward where Keller turns it back for BC. He's a physical presence on the blue line, standing at 5'11". Pucci knocks it forward for Harvard. Shoulder to shoulder, Parker goes neck and neck with Anastas and dumps it deep. Takes an odd ricochet off the backboards, and Keller sends it to the near side half boards. Crimson keep it alive on the forecheck. Parker finds Heffernan. Back to Parker, junior from Milton, Massachusetts. Her older sister Elizabeth just graduated from the Crimson program last year. Centering feed from Lang, delayed call coming, and the play is blown dead. It's the first penalty of this game on Boston College. Kalia Johnson off for hooking.
Lang trying to work in front towards Parker. And didn't get a great look at the call against Johnson. It was somewhere there in the middle of that scrum in front of the crease.
So the junior Johnson goes off for 2. First look at Harvard's power play unit, which is 3rd in the country at 24.6% this season. Eagles are top 10 in penalty kills, 6th in the country at 90.5%. Carpenter brings it over the blue line. Crimson try to turn her around. Look at the stick skills as she keeps it alive for an extra 5 seconds. Dench back for Harvard. Mie Dench uses the half boards, playing it to the corner. Mary Parker there and dispossessed quickly by Haley Skarupa. And they is something you don't see every day. The top 2 scorers in the country, Carpenter and Skarupa, also the top penalty killing forwards for Boston College. Harvard's called for icing on the power play, but that shows you just how well-rounded Skarupa and Carpenter are.
Yeah, they're the reason why Harvard just iced the puck on the power play. They kept getting that puck deep into the Harvard zone short-handed, and they work so well together. That's why you see them playing up front on the penalty kill as well.
We've talked a lot about Skarupa and Carpenter today, and you know the scary thing, if you're any other college hockey team, when you've seen how dominant BC has been this year, they're both juniors. They'll be back next year. Edney into the offensive end for Harvard. Takes a wrist shot and it's blocked by Keller, who stood her ground well. Slaps it to the blue line and Edney holds it in. Reber at the slot, wrists one on goal, and Katie Burt gloves it for her 4th save of the night. Some extracurriculars afterwards. This is the Beanpot after all. Second meeting between these 2 teams this season. BC won the first game 10-2 back in November. I think that's been the turning point for the Harvard season. Crimson 16-2 since. At that point, they were just 2-2 on the year.
And it was really a big wake-up call for them. And they were really slow out of the gate, just 2-2 in that month of November. Had some tough opponents as well. But once they got settled in, you know, you got the players coming back from the Olympics, and they finally got used to playing with each other.
Here's a slap shot high over the goal from Gedman. Just 40 seconds to go after the hooking penalty on Kalia Johnson. Lang keeps it alive, finds Daniels. This is Harvard's 2nd power play unit. Lindsay Fry camps out in front of Burt as Daniels is dispossessed. Strong defense from Lexi Bender. Her clearance is kept in momentarily, but a sprawling play from Kenzie Kent knocks it forward. Fry whitewashed into the boards, but Harvard comes right back again. Daniels takes it down to the corner, jabs at it with Bender, and plays it all the way around the other way. Gedman pitches from the blue line to keep it into the corner. Here's Lang, freshman, keeps it behind goal. Lang in the circle, spins it back and plays it to the point. Picard a slap shot, and it's wide of goal. Daniels had the screen set up. BC's back to even strength. Harvard 0 for 1 on the power play. Picard steps in again, walks around Trevigno, and keeps it alive with Reber. Harvard puts the 2nd line out there as Hillary Crow spins. Tries to get it to a cutting Dench. In the slot, Dench shoots. Burt comes out to make the save, and it's turned away by Field. Best save of the game for Katie Burt, the freshman from nearby Lynn. Proud of her hometown as well. If you look at the back of her goaltender's helmet, has an entering Lynn sign on that back part of her cage. Keller stretches a pass forward, and here's Field for BC. 1-1 score, shot 16-6 in favor of the top-ranked undefeated Eagles. Picard plays defense as it comes back to Keller at the point. Here's an odd-angled slap shot skipping around. That was off Torian Miano's stick, and Maschmeyer covers it up. Brings us to a stoppage in play with 12:53 to go, second period. Both teams have had a chance on the power play in period 2. Best chance of the game for Harvard's Mie Dench, but we're tied at 1 between Harvard and Boston College from Bright Landry. Good look at Emirates Maschmeyer, Harvard's junior goalie from Verderheim, Alberta, on the fast track to the Canadian senior national team. Played goal for Canada in the Four Nations Cup back in November. Tremendous goalie, was a Patty Kazmaier finalist last year. Today she's made 16 saves. Been busy against the top team in the country.
Yeah, she was a bit off balance to start the game, but has really settled in here and seems a lot more composed than the opening moments of this game.
Second period's been played a bit tighter than a wide open first period. Both teams have had a power play, which is part of the reason why. In the neutral zone, Daniels bats at it for Harvard, and here's a stretch pass to feed up Armstrong. Armstrong's in, and Burt snatches it with the mitt. Katie Burt flashing the leather with a beautiful save.
Well, that was perfectly placed by Armstrong. Here you see this one's headed top right corner, and Burt, a great read to snatch it. And how good is this? She's a freshman, and she looks so seasoned. You had that one against Dench before where she has the wherewithal and the awareness to come out in front of the crease to challenge Dench as well. Looking very experienced.
Burt, 5th in the nation in save percentage as a freshman, won a silver medal last year with Team USA at the Under-18 World Championships. This is icing on Harvard. Bring the face-off back to the BC end after the Eagles ice it. Well, Nick, if you're Harvard, you absorb that early flow. Now you've played a relatively even second period. It's Boston College has probably had a bit more of the overall puck possession, but Harvard's found the good counter-attacking opportunities. If you're Katie Stone on the bench right now, what are you telling your team?
You just keep doing what you're doing, honestly. You're hanging right with this team. If you can win some of those 50-50 battles, you hook up with passes like you saw with Armstrong just a moment ago. Those plays are the difference in this game. You just have to stay extremely disciplined. It's when teams try to do too much or go out of the game plan, that's when they get hurt by BC.
Puck redirects in front of the goal and skips the blue line. Skarupa keeps it in. Haley Skarupa shoots and scores! Boston College has a 2-1 lead on Haley Skarupa's 25th goal of the year.
Bouncing puck, she tracks it down and gets enough space. What a thread the needle type of shot there to beat Maschmeyer. Just an impressive look. And both these goals for BC have come when they're able to get a little separation. Harvard's done a great job of clogging the shooting lanes, really challenging these forwards. But the two goals have been plays where BC's battled for the puck, and then they've been able to gather it up in a bunch of space. And then right there, Skarupa with plenty of room to put that one home.
Skarupa inches to just 2 goals behind her teammate Alex Carpenter for the NCAA lead, her 25th of the year. She's been a bellwether goal scorer for BC lately, had the game winner in the Beanpot semifinal against Northeastern. Crimson come back hard, a falling over wrist shot from Dench gets into the corner, and Hillary Crow plays it back behind goal for the Crimson. Here's Reber, pinched in against the half boards. Mie Dench keeps it alive, and now Reber is taken off the puck. Lexi Bender there first, junior from Snohomish, Washington, loses the puck back to Reber. Crimson forecheck sets up Gedman, and her drive's blocked by Burt. Bender back to it. Bounces one to Kristen Capizano. Crimson turn it back again. Dench knocked it free. Here's a feed for Reber. Tied up in the circle by Johnson. And Crow gets it behind goal. Bender uses her strong stick to poke it away in the corner and feed one forward for Capizano.
Great shift for the top line there for Crimson. Second line, I beg your pardon. They look so good cycling the puck, and they need more shifts like that to try and tire this BC team down a bit.
This is icing on Boston College. Well, you mentioned tiring down the Eagles at the end of a long shift. No chance to change for BC. And an offensive zone draw for Harvard. Boston College has won 25 straight. They beat the Crimson 10-2 back in November. A game that was tied at 2 in the second period before the Eagles exploded for 6 second period goals. Scored 8 unanswered to end that game. Harvard leads the all-time series 15-11, but BC has won 7 of the last 10. The Eagles looking for their second consecutive Beanpot championship for Harvard. Here's a centering feed and a backhand goal for Carly Heffernan. We are tied at 2. The freshman from Sherwood Park, Alberta, scores her 6th goal of the season.
See, BC gets caught chasing the puck here. 3 players watching the puck. Heffernan sneaks into the slot wide open. Eagles can't recover because their eyes are watching the puck, not keeping account of where all the forwards are. And how about Lang? Gets to the corner, turns around to survey the scene, and quickly gets it to Heffernan, who also had a great game against Brown on Saturday. She is someone who has really stepped up as well.
That line, the Heffernan-Parker-Lang line, combined for 11 points in Harvard's 7-1 win over Brown last week. We're tied at 2 after Heffernan's goal, and here's a more forecheck from Harvard. Armstrong to the offensive end. Circles it right side and plays it back to Fry. Harvard looking for its 14th Beanpot title, pulling within 2 of Northeastern for first in the women's Beanpot. Armstrong cycling along the half-board. She gets it to Daniels behind goal. Well, both times BC has blown to take a lead. Harvard has come back and answered with a goal of its own. Past the midway point of this game, tied at 2. The Eagles unbeaten on the year. Harvard 16-2 in its last 18. Hillary Crow at the blue line, knocks it around. That comes just to the blue line, and now Anastas sends it out to the neutral zone. Well, for a while, Harvard was having a hard time getting out of its own end. Now Boston College has struggled to clear the puck out. This one comes on Maschmeyer, and she covers up to stop play with 9:15 to go. Well, punchy last 5 minutes. First, a goal from Haley Skarupa to give Boston College a 2-1 lead. Then Harvard answers with a goal from Carly Heffernan off the feed from Lexi Lang. We're all square at 2 in the women's Beanpot final on ESPN3. A goal for each side, separated by 1 minute and 21 seconds, has us knotted up at 2 here in period 2 with Nick Cope. I'm Bill Spalding. I think if you just look at the stats, almost all these numbers are heavy in Boston College's favor. The Eagles did start on an 8-0 run, but the top-ranked team in the country still has had the bulk of the puck possession.
When that one number, though, there, Harvard, 7 blocked shots. It's something they have really done a great job during this run they've had, and it's something that was imperative for them to do tonight if they were to have a chance.
I mean, not surprising when you look at Harvard's defensive 6. Of the 6 defensemen, 2 played in the Olympics, 2 more were all conference. And how about the goalie, Emirates Maschmeyer, who makes a beautiful stick save on the opportunity for Kent. Big hit behind the play, and that's a Boston College penalty as Armstrong ended up nailed to the ice.
Yeah, that was Carpenter. Edney comes over to get in Carpenter's face. That was a pretty vicious hit there into the boards. Get a great look at it here.
They were going head-to-head, and Carpenter just shoved her out.
Yep, that toss there at the end extended the arms, and they're going to discuss, I think, if this should get 5 minutes or not. It's tough to say. It didn't look like a totally vicious shove, but it was just enough.
Yeah, to be fair, I think it ended up looking worse than it actually was with the collision into the boards and Armstrong falling over as well. And you'd hate to see a player like Carpenter taken out of the game by a major penalty. Obviously a clear penalty, but the officials just discussing whether to make it a 2 or a 5. Heading over to explain things to Boston College head coach Katie King Crowley, and it is a 5-minute major. 5-minute body checking penalty on Carpenter. And a chance to maybe change the game for Harvard. They'll have a power play for the full 5 minutes, regardless of if they score.
Not only a 5-minute power play, you've got the other team's best player in the box. And this is going to be huge in deciding this game.
Katie Crowley is livid on the Boston College bench, the 8th-year head coach who played in the Olympics in '98, 2002, and 2006. Sees her team facing a 5-minute Harvard power play after the 5-minute body check on Alex Carpenter. This is Sam Reaver for Harvard. Crimson scored the game's last goal. Harvard has a chance to take the lead against number 1 BC. A wraparound from Parker goes wide. Dench keeps it alive. This is slid back across to Edney. Crimson to be very patient here with still 4:30 to go after the major body checking penalty. Edney a drive, and it's wide of goal. Dench keeps it alive for Harvard. A lot of pressure on these BC penalty killers. Edney slaps again, live bounce to the slot. It's a goal! B.A. Dench puts Harvard up 3-2.
Boy, oh boy, look at this puck ricochet off the back, flies in front, and then Dench there, and it looked like Parker actually was able to slide it across for as well. Look at Parker in the slot here, 15. He'll get her stick on it, gets through the legs of Bender, and then Dench hammers it home. It happened so quick, you almost didn't see Parker do that. Parker continues to help this team get it done.
Goal and an assist today for Parker. It's her 15th assist of the year and Mie Dench's 14th goal. There's still 4:15 of power play left after the major penalty on Carpenter. The Crimson send out the second power play unit with a 3-2 lead against undefeated Boston College. This is Megan Keller who works it forward. Remember, Harvard's power play is third in the country at 25%. BC's penalty kill, sixth in the country at 90.5%. Open ice for Gedman. Slides it across Lexi Lang, and she's in offsides. Getting testy as Sydney Daniels applies a shove to Dana Trevigno. Some bad blood left over from that 10-2 game in November. Nobody likes to get embarrassed the way Harvard did that night. They were focused and had a possible matchup with BC circled. And when they knew they needed to beat BU last week, well, they came out with a vengeance, won 9-2 in the semi. And I don't think anybody was happier than the 18 Crimson skaters to find out that the snow was not postponing this Beanpot final.
Well, it's been incredibly physical here in the second period. And I think that's what led to the Carpenter penalty. You know, she was just kind of getting tangled up with Armstrong, things getting intense, and she just extended her arms too much. It was really just a matter of that led to this penalty. Really one that you could have gone either way. But when you consider the shove, and I'm sure the refs, you know, you see the end result of it as well. And you just hope people, depending on how this game goes, don't point to this and say Harvard won because of this penalty. That was just a judgment call.
Still plenty of game left. 3 minutes to go on the penalty to Carpenter for body checking. 1 goal already home. Mie Dench from Mary Parker on this power play, and 2:45 to go as the Crimson re-trigger. Abigail Frazier starts it forward. Reber pokes it along, and there's Johnson over to greet her and slam it back the other way. Eagles have regrouped well after that Harvard goal early in this power play, and they've killed off a solid 2 minutes since.
I think they woke up a little bit. I think they were a little stunned to see their top player, Carpenter, off. And really, it was all about, we talked about in the first game, you mentioned the lively action on the end boards in this rink, and we saw it come to play here, right there.
BC doesn't trail much. They were down 1-0 to Northeastern in the Beanpot semi before winning 3-1. Here's a Daniels drive blocked in front. Tremendous work by Keller, and it's cleared away by the Eagles again with just 1:55 to go on that major body checking penalty against Carpenter. 1 goal already in for Harvard. A 3-2 lead for the 4th-ranked Crimson over #1 BC in the Beanpot championship game. Lang dumps it deep, and Harvard recycles the offense. Here it comes to Dench, plays it to the point. Reber, good look in the high slot. Back to Dench, one-timer, and it's just wide of goal. Harvard patient here with 1:20 of power play time left. Reber fakes the slap shot, feeds the crease, and it skips into the quarter. Hops up, and we'll have a face-off in the offensive end for the Crimson. Mentioned BC hasn't trailed much at all this year. They've only been trailing after 2 periods. How's this? Never. They haven't trailed after 2 periods. They've been tied after 2 periods twice. They've been leading after 2 periods in 26 of their 28 games. Here's a clearance to center ice, and now a breakout shorthanded. Kenzie Kent into the offensive end, plays it back to the slot. Tough angle wrister for Trevigno's, blocked down by Pucci, and Harvard sends it back to the neutral zone. Still, Bender can run some clock for BC with a minute left on that Carpenter penalty. Well, Harvard scored 40 seconds in the major. Could have been a whole lot worse for BC, but they've weathered the storm for the last 3 minutes. Gotta think you're gonna have an inspired Carpenter coming out of the penalty box as well in 45 seconds. Fry with speed for Harvard, finds a cutting Daniels. Puck bounces to Burt, who aggressively covers up and stops play with 4:24 to go. You think, Nick, a player like Carpenter, a world-class player, Olympic pedigree, has to sit in the bench for 5 minutes, watch her team give up a goal. Gotta be just chafing to get back out on the ice now.
This second period has flown by now, just over 4 minutes, and this is just, every little thing keeps building in this game. Carpenter goes off. It's just, the physicality is tremendous. Really one of the best women's college hockey games you'll see all season.
4 Olympians on the ice. More than half the players have played for the junior national teams of either the U.S. or Canada. Crow to the blue line. Picard a drive, and it's wide of goal. Burt watched it go left of her post. Edney tees up Picard again. The junior captain for Harvard settles it down. Skip past Crow, slips to the ice. Tripped over the circle, and Falzer sends it out the other way. Emily Field to the offensive end, and Boston College is back to full strength as Carpenter leaves the box. So Harvard scored 40 seconds into the 5-minute power play. BC weathered the storm the rest of the way, 3-2 Crimson. Slid across the goal mouth, drive for Dench goes well wide right, and Edney holds it in at the blue line. I think overall, if you're Boston College, you have to be pretty satisfied with how you rebounded for the rest of that major penalty kill.
And Harvard had 2 great looks there. You had Crow, and then the same play, Dench before that, and it was a bouncing puck that, when Dench struck it, just caused it to sail up. You're talking about potentially another goal for Harvard, if not for Crow slipping, and then that bouncing puck.
Keller to the offensive end, centering feed for Carpenter. She's knocked to the ice, and here comes a Harvard penalty. So right out of the box, Carpenter makes her impression by drawing the penalty. So Harvard heads to the penalty box. 3-2 Harvard over Boston College with 3:04 to play. A BC power play coming up for these talented, top-ranked Eagles, trying to avoid being behind after 2 periods for the first time all season. It's a hook on Armstrong. She knocked down Carpenter. Second penalty on Armstrong, third on Harvard. BC is 0 for 2 on the power play. They have 2 shots on the man advantage. Top unit out there, Carpenter, Skarupa go to work on the near side boards. Centering feed bounces through the goal mouth, and it skips into the corner. Crimson clear, but Skarupa holds at the blue line, and we have a penalty coming on Boston College. It's a trip on Falzer, who knew it. She skates right on over the bench without the slightest protest. 4-on-4 hockey. BC's third power play wiped away after 19 seconds.
That was the opportunity BC needed to get an equalizer here in the second period, and just undisciplined by Falzer.
She was tied up shoulder to shoulder with Crow and tripped her on the turnaround.
Yeah, just reached around her leg there, and BC just shoot themselves in the foot here a little bit in the second period. Carpenter and then Falzer right when they need to be on the power play and get a goal back.
Open ice for Skarupa and Carpenter. Skarupa's wicked wrister bounces into the corner off the blocker of Maschmeyer. 20th shot for BC against 10 for Harvard, but the Crimson have a 3-2 lead. Picard gains the zone for Harvard. Wrister deflected by Picard wide to the right. Parker sent it through. Lexi Bender back on top, the junior defenseman from Snohomish, Washington, who prepped at one of the top schools for hockey in the world, Shattuck St. Mary's, the alma mater of Sidney Crosby, fires one into the corner. Crimson take it away from Bender, a drop back from Parker to Pucci, and Sarah Edney starts it forward. Parker has open ice, tries to feed it to Dench, too far out in front of the forward. And here come the Eagles with speed. Trevigno bounces it forward. Leary at the circle. Okay, Leary's shot's blocked down. Great work by Edney again, and Harvard has a one-on-one run out. This is Fry to the offensive end, working around Bender. Fry, tough angled shot, canceled on the way through by the back-checking Sullivan. Crimson have Fry with it. Shot from the point, bounces through. I don't think Burke saw that cleanly as Reber was blocking her view. BC gets it back out with just 15 seconds of 4-on-4 left before a 20-second Harvard power play. This is icing on the Crimson. So Harvard has the game's last 2 goals, one at even strength, one on the power play. BC goals today from Skorupa and Anastas. Harvard goals from Parker, Heffernan, and Dench. Face-off win for the Crimson. Defensive zone draw by Fry, and she wins it back. BC forecheck keeps it alive. Held in by Kaylee Flanagan, freshman from Burlington, Massachusetts. Hops behind goal. Field goes shoulder to shoulder with Frazier. 15 seconds of power play time for Harvard. The BU's killing it out here. Anastas keeps it alive to the point. Flanagan plays it deep, and that'll about do it for the shortest power play Harvard is likely to have today. Crimson fall to 1 for 3 with the man advantage. BC is 0 for 3 with the extra man. 40 seconds to go in the period. Heffernan off the stretch pass is bumped off the puck. Johnson got to her, and Flanagan sent it to the blue line. Parker holds it in momentarily, but Falzer turns it around for the Eagles. Emily Falzer, the top scoring defenseman in the country, is taken off the puck by Parker, and here come the Crimson again. It's Lang over the blue line. Lexi Lang sends it through, and Parker couldn't get a touch. Heffernan keeps it alive in the corner. Here she is along the half boards. Carly Heffernan backhands one through. Parker again tried for the deflection. Edney plays it safe with 5 seconds to go, comes back to the half boards. Gedman knocks it forward, and that should about do it for period 2. Now, in game number 29 of the year for Boston College, the Eagles have their first deficit at the second intermission. Boston College 27-0-1 on the year, but Nick, their undefeated streak and their back-to-back quest for 2 Beanpots in a row in danger here with a 3-2 Harvard lead.
They've taken some costly penalties, and Harvard has brought the intensity and the physicality in this game. And as we've gone on, they've been able to match the speed of Boston College as well. And it's amazing how this game started to where it is now. Harvard has just completely flipped the script. And it's the physicality that's really got to be. They're playing their best hockey of the season tonight.
Last 2 goals of the period belong to the Crimson. Carly Heffernan and Mie Dench, a 5-minute major penalty, the talking point from period 2. Harvard leads Boston College 3-2. The Crimson are 20 minutes away from what would be a 14th Beanpot in school history. 4th-ranked Harvard has #1 Boston College on the ropes. We head to the 3rd period of the 37th annual Women's Beanpot Championship game. Harvard 3, undefeated BC 2. Nick, a very interesting second period. Boston College started with a goal, but Harvard got one right back, and then a penalty was a big part of that second period.
Yeah, that penalty to Alex Carpenter, the 5-minute major for the body check, is really going to loom large in this game. It really gave Harvard a big boost. And see, here's the goal for BC.
Haley Skorupa with a snipe there for her 25th of the year.
Yeah, both BC's goals have come when they've been able to get separation on the wing. They got fantastic snipers on the outside. This is a great dig out of the corner by Lang to find Heffernan in the slot. And you get another look at it here. You see how Heffernan's just able to sneak through the slot past the forwards of the Eagles.
Yeah, you wonder where anyone from Boston College was to pick up Heffernan, who skated through really untouched. Then there's that penalty on Carpenter, a close call, pretty borderline on whether that should have been a 2 or a 5. Carpenter tagged for the 5, and right off the bat in the major penalty, Harvard scored for Mie Dench.
And that was, it moved quickly there. It's so hard to see, but Mary Parker really started this play. Here, watch 15 for Harvard right there. Just a slick little flip there. Goes through the legs of Bender, and then it was all started by Reber.
Yeah, they in fact gave Reber an assist for the slightest touch there and tapped it along to Parker. Reber's 20th of the year, Parker's 17th assist of the season, and Mie Dench's 14th goal. Harvard being outshot 20-10. BC still has had a lot of that puck possession, but remember, with 8-0 BC out of the start, since the last 30 minutes or so of game time, it's been playing relatively flat for both sides.
And I think, BC's fan, you want to point to that penalty and shake your fist that that cost the game. But Harvard has matched the intensity from the Eagles. They've been playing them incredibly close, blow for blow. You might say, well, BC's got twice as many shots, but Harvard's been keeping them on the outside a lot. Their 2 goals are to the closest times they've gotten in. Harvard has packed it in tight and really made this a very, very close game.
Boston College has not trailed entering a third period before tonight in the Eagles' 29th game of the year. BC looking for a 6th Beanpot championship, Harvard for a 14th. We are off for the final 20 of regulation here at the Bright Landry Hockey Center. Eagles, #1 in the country for the first time in their program's history. Relatively new program. They started in just 1999-2000 season, so this is only year number 15 for BC. A chip up out of play off of Haley Skarupa's stick will lead to a face-off at center ice. Harvard, meanwhile, has been around as a Division I program basically as long as there's been Division I hockey, starting in the 70s. There's been a women's Beanpot every year since 1979. Now, that first year, they had a trophy just kind of thrown together. Now, obviously, a much better looking trophy, better than the, I believe, $6 trophy they threw together for that first women's Beanpot.
They only just recently got the nice shiny one.
A beautiful trophy that will be handed out live on our airwaves after this game. Harvard looking for its first trophy in 5 years. BC for its 5th in the last 9 seasons. Lindsay Fry bats one out to center ice for the Crimson, and she takes it into the corner. Fry plays it behind goal, but BC is right back on top of it. Long pass, icing is waved off as it ran out of gas at the end, and Pucci takes it back for Harvard. Mie Dench, who scored Harvard's 3rd goal of this game. If the game ended now, it would be the game winner, gets it into the offensive end. Pucci plays it along the half boards. Here's a chip high up forward. The pitching wedge there from Emily Field, and icing is called on Boston College. Minute and 16 seconds into this third period, and haven't seen a great chance from either side. Not sure what the stoppage is around the Harvard bench. Officials chatting with the Harvard coaching staff and Harvard trainer. In fact, I believe an official got clipped with that clearance and hit the linesman, and the trainer has taken him off the ice momentarily. So they'll try to patch up the official. If they can't, we'll have to go with 3 officials for the remainder of this third period.
Well, they do it all the time at Division III. So I'm sure all these officials now at the Division I level would have some experience with that. He didn't seem too hurt. He was, not hobbling. He was acting pretty good.
Or he was just being extra tough. He's a hockey ref,
Well, I wonder if it was maybe equipment as well.
Well, he went straight to the trainer over at the Harvard bench, and that puck did seem to change directions when it was chipped out. Allows us some time to kind of stoke in the atmosphere here, though, at Bright Landry. On a day where the subway and the commuter rail is shut down, folks had to dig out more than 20 inches of snow yesterday on top of the previous 50 we already had over the past 2 weeks. About 2,000 fans here, a band from Harvard, a student section from Boston College. Pretty impressive to see how things have turned out tonight at Bright Landry. And you have to give a lot of credit as well to the facilities staff here that had construction equipment, backhaulers, and other things like that, clearing out the parking lot all day today so fans can get here to Bright Landry. We will go with 3 officials for the time being. Both referees over talking with Katie Crowley at the BC bench. Face-off coming to the neutral zone. I think Katie Crowley wanted it in the offensive end after BC had cleared it out.
Yeah, when the play was blown dead, the puck was down here towards the end line. But I think, for the sake of something inadvertent like that causing the play to stop, you have to put it at the neutral zone.
Josephine Pucci, a long clearance, and this is icing as Lexi Bender wins the race to the face-off dot just ahead of Hillary Crow.
Yeah, so BC will get what they wanted anyway, and they'll come back down to the right of Mashmeyer.
That certainly put a little bit of a stint in the flow that we had here in the third period. Took a little bit of life out of the crowd, a quick break. For Harvard leads 3-2. I guess the more staccato this third period is, the better that is for the Crimson, because if Boston College can get into one of its high-flying rhythms, the Eagles likely have a 3rd goal in store. This is icing again on Harvard. So just 15 seconds after the last stoppage, we're back in play again.
Yeah, couldn't hook up with Crow there on the long pass up the middle. A little out of reach. Yeah, really choppy start here. Haven't even gotten through 2 minutes of the period.
Eagles are 27-0-1 on the year. They've won 25 straight since a 1-1 draw against St. Lawrence in the third game of the season. Wrist shot from the point from Bender's blocked down, and Crow breaks out for Harvard with Josephine Pucci. Harvard 18-4-2 on the year, 16-2 since the 10-2 loss to BC back in November. Pucci takes it away from Carpenter. Here she is to the offensive end. She lays it back for Daniels, and the wristers blocked aside by Burt. Josephine Pucci with a tremendous play against the nation's most prolific scorer to tee up another Harvard opportunity. Now BC works it back the other way. This is a bounce to the blue line, not out as Armstrong keeps it alive and ladles it right back into the corner. Eagles chip it out with Falzer. Edney first to it for Harvard in her own end. The senior from Mississauga, Ontario, in suburban Toronto, glides one along, and Fry bounces it ahead. Here's the turnaround for Megan Keller. High slot, Keller cycles into the circle and bounces a pass down below goal. Kent dances with it, absorbs a blow from Edney. Now Skarupa plays it to the slot, and Fry's there to cancel her out. Lindsay Fry takes it along the half boards. 1v1 on Johnson. A wrister rises high over the bar and off to the sideboards. Michelle Picard pinched for a defensive position just to leave it behind goal. Johnson restarts it for BC the other way. Again, the Crimson do it on the forecheck with Parker before the Eagles niftily pass it ahead. Dana Trevigno in front, puts one on goal, and Mashmeyer turns her aside. Trevigno took a spill down, and now we have an injured Harvard player, Lexi Lang, who collided with Trevigno and spilled her to the ice. Lang helped back to her feet by her line mates Carly Heffernan and Mary Parker. The freshman from nearby Marblehead, Massachusetts. Her older sister Brianna is the backup goalie for the Crimson. And under her own power, she makes it back to the Harvard bench.
Yeah, well, you saw the speed from Trevigno. Holy smokes, when she was able to get to the puck, and then the Crimson just trying to get back as fast as possible. And when she dekes back towards the middle, there's really not much Lang can do to hold up with how fast she was going.
Trevigno's a junior from Setauket, New York. 11 goals, 15 assists this season. She, like Lexi Bender of BC, also prepped at Shattuck St. Mary's, and a school that's produced about 25 NHLers and a bevy of Division I hockey players on both the men's and women's side. Brianna Mastel pins Capizano into the corner. It comes around to Falzer. Backhanded pass to the slot. Leary shoots. Mashmeyer the kick save, and the rebound skips into the corner. At the point, a wrister from Bender, blocked by Dench. It's Harvard's 10th block shot of this game. A 2-on-1 for the Crimson. Reber has Crow with her. Reber sends it through, and Crow's canceled out. Tremendous work coming back. Johnson got there. Now Carpenter pokes along against Daniels. Sydney Daniels to the front, and she's knocked off the puck by Falzer. Falzer sends one out, and this is icing on Boston College. At the end of a lengthy shift, BC's 5 forced to stay on the ice, and the Crimson come to the offensive end as they were very close to an insurance goal.
Yeah, right before that, BC had a great look. It looked like Mashmeyer wasn't going to get into her crouch in time, a little late, squatting down and blocking the 5-hole.
2 shots aside here in this third period, 22-12 overall for BC, but the top-ranked undefeated Eagles trail Harvard 3-2. Championship game of the 37th annual Beanpot. Wrister from Picard took a wicked deflection and skipped off Burt into the corner.
And she had a really late reaction to that as well.
Edney, high point for Harvard, sends one through traffic. Burt the save, rebound sitting free and poked behind goal. Carpenter gets to it for Boston College to slow down the pace. Here comes the U.S. Olympian from Sochi, tied for the team lead for USA with 4 goals last spring in Russia under the tutelage of current Harvard head coach Katie Stone. Bailey Armstrong plays it around the half boards for the Crimson in the defensive end. Daniels pass picked by Sullivan. Feed to the point. Keller's free. Here's a drive, and it's blocked by Crow. Anastas back to it in the circle. Eagles trying to stay undefeated on the year, coming forward in waves as Armstrong blocks one in front. Anastas kicks it around, and it comes back to Edney. as this game goes along, you'd expect to see more and more desperation and intensity from BC. Icing on the Crimson will bring a face-off back to the BC end. But Nick, at the start of the year, you don't imagine you'd go undefeated, but at this point, if you're Boston College, you have just 4 regular season games left. It's a really real possibility, and you know that it's a matter of pride for this group of Eagles.
They just started the season so hot out of the gate, putting up so many goals. They had 10 goals, 6, 8, a couple 2, but they weren't being held to less than 4 goals a game for a long while.
Still lead the nation, averaging 5.5 goals a game. Remember the 10-2 win over Harvard in November. Keller makes it snow as she slams on the brakes and finds Skarupa behind goal. Skarupa has one of the 2 BC goals, 25 goals on the season for Haley Skarupa. Carpenter is tripped, and this is a Harvard penalty. Gift-wrapped opportunity here for Boston College to tie the game as Picard took down Carpenter.
Yep. Easy call there.
Carpenter just on the side of your picture there, taken down. Well, second penalty she's drawn, and it seems fitting that BC has a chance to tie on the power play after Harvard took the lead after the controversial major penalty on Carpenter in the second period. The Eagles 0 for 3 on the power play, centering feed to Kent is slammed wide. Field keeps it alive. Trevigno absorbs a blow from Gedman, waves it off to Anastas. Anastas spills to the ice. Puck stiffs around to Keller. Circle shot is blocked by Pucci. At the point, Field drives, and Pucci blocks it again. Josephine Pucci with a one-woman penalty kill, and she's into the offensive end. Backhands one through, and Burt covers it up. Crowd went crazy thinking it was home, but Katie Burt kept it out. And now we have a penalty call coming as well.
Well, look at all this. Thrown there. Yeah, Burt's holding on to it. And then the puck was sitting there when the whistle was blown dead. And then didn't see what could potentially be the penalty, but looks like it'll go against BC. Here you see the overhead. And that puck was sitting under her left leg the whole time.
Snuck out at the last second. The official blown it dead, but the penalty is on Boston College. A hooking penalty on Megan Keller. So the Eagles see their 4th power play of the game canceled out after 32 seconds. 4-on-4 hockey between Harvard and BC. Top-ranked Boston College down 1, 37th women's Beanpot. Harvard looking for its first Beanpot win in 5 seasons. BC with a win would go back-to-back. Just the second team this decade to do that, and they'd win their 5th in 9 tries.
BC continues to shoot itself in the foot. They had this last period as well. They got the power play after the 5-minute major, then they commit a penalty of their own, just 20 seconds or so in, and they do it again here.
Pucci plays it forward to Reber. You have to give Pucci a ton of credit for drawing that penalty. She blocked 2 shots, took it the length of the ice, and drew the hook as well. Minute 10 of 4-on-4. Harvard will have a 30-second power play after the 4-on-4. Emily Falzer works it behind goal. You're in a danger zone whenever you play BC 4-on-4, though, because there's so much open ice now for Carpenter and Skarupa. Skarupa's shot canceled by Edney. She gets it back. Top 2 scoring forwards in the country out there, along with the top scoring defenseman, and they're all wearing maroon and gold. Skarupa risks one on. It bounces off Carpenter's skate into the corner. Pucci plays it to the blue line, just gets it out, and it bounces right back to her. Josephine Pucci, such a steadying force for Harvard defensively. Plus 18 through 14 games, though she's in offsides here with blue line.
She's had a tremendous game, a lot of blocked shots by her. Been very impressive. She's, of course, the big reason why Harvard has been able to turn it on here in the second half of the season.
Yeah, she missed the first half of the season coming back from the Olympics and getting her academics in order, but decided to come back for the second half of the season. Through 14 games, she's at plus 18, and Harvard is 12-2 during the time she's been back. Harvard's defense so talented. 2 Olympians, 2 more all-conference performers out of its starting 6. Big hit behind the play, and that's an easy body check. Gedman going to the box as she wiped out Trevigno. Well, you want open ice, how about a 4-on-3 for 12 seconds for Boston College?
Just not a smart play by Gedman. She's the leading Crimson as far as penalty minutes. And there's really just no need for that.
The BC fan section's yelling for a 5-minute penalty. They want to see some turnabout after Carpenter's major, but that looked to be just the minor body checking variety, and that's what it is. So 4-on-3 for 12 seconds. Then we'll have 32 seconds of 4-on-4, and then Boston College will have about 1 minute and 15 seconds of 5-on-4 as the Eagles look for an equalizer here. In the women's Beanpot third period, BC trailing in the third period for the first time all season. We're 29 games deep.
Fortunately for Harvard, they'll get Picard back, but to have Picard and Gedman in there would be tumultuous for the Crimson.
Here's a circle for Bender. She shoots. Maschmeyer makes the save. The junior from Alberta, who was a Patty Kazmaier finalist last year, has turned aside 21 of the 23 shots she's faced. We're at 4-on-4 as Skarupa spins in, has Carpenter with her. Skarupa pushed right against the boards by Edney. Here comes Pucci to help as well, and Skarupa's taken off the puck. Armstrong bats it forward. Here comes Carpenter the other way. Great recovery from Pucci, who gets his stick in and knocks it away from her Olympic teammate from last season. Got 3 seconds, now 2 left on that Keller penalty, and here's a full minute 16 of 5-on-4 for Boston College after the body checking penalty on Gedman. Eagles looking for that equalizer. Now 65 seconds to go on a 5th power play of this game for BC. Boston College is 0 for 4 so far with the man advantage. Keller's into the offensive end. The lanky freshman works it across the half board, and Pucci greets her there. Skarupa walks it forward and loses it behind goal. Feels like Pucci's been on the ice for the last 3 minutes. A lengthy shift, and now she escapes to the bench off the Harvard clearance. Hey, this is the finals of Beanpot. You take those double shifts here down the stretch. Both these teams have dived back into conference play on Friday, but they'll take some tired legs the next couple days if it means they carry a Beanpot trophy home at the end of the night. That's icing on BC, and it's the 4th time today combined between these two teams we've seen icing on the power play.
It's a sign that the team's getting to the Eagles when they're doing uncharacteristic things like icing the puck on the power play, taking penalties while they're on the power play. And really a phenomenal hockey game we've been watching. It hasn't been mistake-free on either side, but it's been intense, it's been physical, everything you'd want from a Beanpot final.
Well, outside of a World Championship or an Olympics, the past 2 weeks here at Bright Landry has been likely the best collection of talent of women's hockey that you will see. 6 Olympians over the 4 Beanpot teams, not to mention a bevy of players who have national team experience at other levels. Here's Trevigno behind goal, and here in the championship we've had a game that's ebbed and flowed. BC led 1-0 to 1. Harvard has the 3-2 lead. Trevigno winds and whiffs on the shot as Harvard gets back to even strength. Daniels out of the box. Here's a pass to the front, knocked around by Fry. Skip pass to the blue line, and it skips back to center ice. So Harvard survives the power play. Boston College is 0 for 5 with the man advantage today.
They just really haven't got any great looks inside. Harvard's packed it in the middle and said, go ahead and take all those shots you want on the outside. We think we can block them.
Eagle goals today for Andy Anastas and Haley Skarupa. Harvard goals for Mary Parker, Carly Heffernan, and Mie Dench. Dench stands as the game winner if neither team scores in the last 9:43. Centering feed, and Maschmeyer, huge save. Re-trigger is hit over the bar by Falzer. A 3rd try in front, and Daniels bats at it into the corner. Falzer tries to keep it alive, but Reber gets it back. Emirates Maschmeyer has made a couple enormous saves in this 3rd period. Crow finally allows Harvard to hit the safety valve for a bit by playing it across the ice. Crimson finally break their defensive zone here with Daniels. Crow gets a touch to wave off icing, and now Reber into the offensive end for Harvard. At the blue line, Mastel fires one through, bouncing puck. Bertha save, and the rebound bounces behind goal. Pucci whiffs on the slap shot. 2-on-2, turn it into a 4-on-2 for BC. Skarupa steps in, lays one off. Falzer from the slot, shoots, save Maschmeyer, and the rebound's cleared aside by Dench. Heart-stopping moments here at Bright Landry in the 3rd as Mastel gains the offensive zone and gets some help from Dench. Centering feed, bounces to Lang, slap shot goes wide to the right. End-to-end play without any whistles for the last 4 minutes. BC has been very close to finding the equalizer.
Harvard swept away those rebounds, so that's been huge for the Crimson. They're crashing to help out Maschmeyer.
That's center ice. This one's boomeranged all the way around to Anastas in the corner. BC's forecheck was really effective early. Harvard's had a bit more success breaking through it over the last 2 periods. Picard bounces one for Heffernan. They break center ice, and Anastas spins it back the other way. Picard ladles this one deep. Keller is there for BC. Undefeated Boston College has won 25 straight, 27-0-1 on the year. Trailing for the first time all season in the 3rd period. Harvard trying to hang on for the final 7:40 and win its first Beanpot in 5 years. This is offsides on BC, and it brings us to a stoppage in play with 7:38 to go in the 3rd period. Buckle in, this conclusion should be just spectacular. Nobody has scored here in period 3, but there have been chances aplenty, including that one from Josephine Pucci. Harvard 3, undefeated BC 2 in the Women's Hockey Beanpot Championship. 3-2 lead for Harvard here in the 3rd period. Stay with us after the game because we'll be giving you the Beanpot Trophy presentation live here on ESPN3. Will Harvard add another stitch to that banner with a 13th, make it 14th Beanpot Championship in school history, or will Boston College win a 5th in 9 years? Eagles looking for back-to-back Beanpot Championships. Harvard looking for its first in 5 seasons. With Nick Cope, I'm Bill Spalding. There's Katie Burt, who has seen 3 goals go by her, 2 for Harvard in the 2nd period, Nick, which right now stand as the difference.
She's only had to make 13 other saves, but those 2 goals in the 2nd period, just great hard work. And it's been just awesome to see the Crimson work in the corners. They've been going up against these defensemen. That 2nd goal, the way Lexi Lang battled in the corner to get that puck out, and Heffernan just snuck in there. And then the great stick work on that 3rd goal to maneuver through a bunch of defenders is really just tremendous.
Harvard got goals in the 2nd period from Carly Heffernan and Mie Dench. Dench's goal, the go-ahead goal. First time Harvard led in the game after BC jumped ahead 1-0 on a goal from Andy Anastas and 2-1 on Haley Skarupa's goal. Eagles trailing in the 3rd period for the first time all season. Remember, in November they beat Harvard 10-2, but since then the Crimson are 16-2. It's like that was the seminal moment in the Harvard season that allowed them to flick the switch and start to live up to those preseason expectations, where Harvard was picked 4th in the preseason poll. Trevigno an interception right to the goal mouth, and Maschmeyer knocks her away. Trevigno's blasted into the post. Leary shoots, delayed call coming, and Trevigno gets it back. Extra attacker on the ice for BC as Harvard touches it dead with Crow. It's been chippy all period long, and now things are starting to get out of hand.
Well, Harvard bails Trevigno out here. She looks up, and I believe that was, I can't get a look at the, I believe that's, who is that? That's Gedman right there. She looks up at Gedman to see if she's got enough room to make the move, and she doesn't realize she doesn't have the puck with her, and then Harvard bails him out anyway.
That's Gedman's 2nd penalty of the period as she body checked Trevigno right into the post. A 6th power play for BC. Eagles average 5 goals a game. They're 20% on the power play. Today they are 0 for 5. You continue to go shorthanded against Boston College. You're playing with fire.
Last 2 times BC has been on the power play, they've taken a penalty within the first 30 seconds. None bigger than this one right now.
Got the 2nd power play unit out there, but they cycle Alex Carpenter in. She finds Kate Leary behind goal. Carpenter, the top scorer in the country, takes the feed to the point. Skarupa winds, and it clanks off the post. It caught Maschmeyer first, and then the far side post. Carpenter for the Eagles shovels it out. Bender with a hand pass. That was right in front of the official, and blatant. Caught maroon-handed there, and she grabbed that one in her glove and flipped it right to Leary.
She had a body right in front of her, so nowhere really to put it down. It just seemed like a natural reaction to say, here you go. But
one of those where you do it, and while you're doing it, you know you shouldn't be doing it, but your body kind of makes you do it anyway. Brings the faceoff out to the neutral zone. 90 seconds to go after the checking penalty on Gedman. 6 minutes left in the game. The Eagles still looking for their first power play goal of the game. This is Falzer. 28 assists from her defenseman position. She's spilled by Pucci, and the Crimson can't clear it. Fry gets it only to the blue line. Falzer in the slot, wrist one high, and it's poked just wide. Bender couldn't catch it cleanly. Leary in the corner. Top power play unit out there for BC. Leary in the circle, feeds it down low. Carpenter on the doorstep, sticked away by Picard, who stood her ground defensively. Minute left on the power play. 6th extra man opportunity for BC today. Skarupa absorbs a blow. It comes on back to Carpenter. This is Falzer smoothly curling in. A wrister is denied by Maschmeyer. Used the waffle board to send it into the corner. Carpenter, odd-angled shot, side of the net. She loops one around. Here's Skarupa, blocked by Pucci. Her 4th block of this 3rd period, and she clears it the length of the ice.
Harvard has just been outworking BC here. 50-50 pucks. Harvard's just finding an extra gear here to make this happen.
Hillary Crow in, sloops around, shoots, and Burt kept her pad down to make the save. Just 15 seconds left on the power play. We've mentioned the long shifts for both teams here down the stretch. The first power play unit has been out for the full 2 minutes, and finally the Eagles make a line change with just 7 seconds left on the power play. 4:40 in the game. BC falls to 0 for 6 with the man advantage. Emily Field, the captain from Littleton, Massachusetts, cycles around, spins at the circle, still holds the puck and throws it on where Mastel hits it away. It's right back to Field, sent to the goal mouth, nobody home. Rowe in the corner, absorbs a check from Field, and here she goes for Harvard to break out to the offensive end. Harvard is offsides and stops play with 4:16 to go in the 3rd period. Harvard hanging on against number 1 Boston College. The Eagles' 25-game win streak is on the brink. 4:16 to go to crown a Beanpot champion. Harvard by 1 on ESPN 3. Harvard leads Boston College 3-2. The folks who made it here to Bright Landry through the snow without the stubway, having a great time. Seen a high-level hockey game between top-ranked undefeated BC, 4th-ranked Harvard. 4 Olympians on the ice, and a whole bunch more future Olympians between these two clubs. Nie Dench for the Crimson can't get it out. Capizano turns it around, and Dana Trevigno's to it in the corner. Fighting with Gedman, Trevigno is dispossessed, and Samantha Reber sends one across. Keller intercepts. Here she comes for BC. Keller shoots. Save Maschmeyer. Rebound poked around and blocked to the side, and Keller takes it back. She winds again. It's blocked by Pucci. Johnny on the spot once more, and she clears it out. She's blocked 5 shots in this 3rd period.
She has been everywhere. Every time there's been a good look for BC, Pucci's been in the way.
Just 3:30 to go. Boston College hadn't trailed in the entire 3rd period. They've definitely never trailed this late in the game this year. Through 28 games, they are 27-0-1. They've won 25 in a row. Harvard looking for some sweet payback after a 10-2 loss to BC, embarrassed him on November 28th. This clearance bounced all the way in on Burt to wipe out icing. Crimson able to make a line change with 3 minutes to play. Armstrong in the top line out there for Harvard. She loops one around the boards, gives way for Sydney Daniels to make a line change. Crimson cycle out that second line. Dench, Reber, and Crow. Skarupa for BC, shoots and it's blocked. Gedman stepped in front. This top line for Boston College, Kent, Skarupa, and Carpenter have seen so much ice time in the 3rd period. Puck got tied up in the official skates, and Pucci muscled it out to center ice for Harvard. Crow batting at it. Skarupa sends it back the other way. Here's Pucci for Harvard, poked along by Carpenter, who won the race to the puck. She goes shoulder to shoulder on Gedman. Pass from Gedman forward, gets the blue line, not out. Pucci tracks it down for Harvard, chips it at the line. It skips right through the 5-hole of Falzer. Feeder through the wickets and gets out to center ice. Big hit behind the play. No call coming as Kent gains the zone. Kalia Judson winds. Maschmeyer another save. It's her 28th of the night. Skarupa shoots. Save Maschmeyer. 3rd tries kicked around. 29 saves for Maschmeyer, and Parker's back on top of it with 1:56 to go. We'll start the watch for Katie Burt down at the BC end. Keller fighting for it. Here's Reber for Harvard. Works it ahead. Samantha Reber at the blue line, runs directly into field. Crimson looking to extend the streak of hosts winning the Beanpot to 3 straight years. It would be Harvard's first win in 5 years. At the blue line, Edney takes over, sends it deep again. No icing. She crossed center ice. Less than 90 seconds to play. BC desperately searching for that equalizer to keep their undefeated streak alive. This just catches the bench, and we'll have a neutral zone faceoff with 1:18 to go. When does Katie Crowley think about using that timeout?
I'm not sure about the timeout. I was thinking about Katie Burke because it seemed they had an opportunity. They had a lot of puck possession down deep here in the Harvard zone with about 1:50, and they didn't pull Burke. So now next time you're going to have to do it, and I think they'll use a timeout if they get offensive zone face-off. This is going to be icing here against the Eagles.
Keeps Burt stapled to her crease. Just 69 seconds to play. Boston College had the game's first 8 shots. They were dominant early on, took the lead with Andy Anastas. Harvard answered back with a goal from Mary Parker. It was 1-1. In the second period, Haley Skarupa got Boston College going to take a 2-1 lead, but Harvard bounced back with back-to-back goals. Carly Heffernan tied things up at 2. The third goal of the game came after a controversial major penalty on Alex Carpenter. Harvard got a goal from Mia Dench to take the lead. Scoreline has stayed at 3-2 since. We have 55 seconds to play third period. Here's Skarupa again, and Burt goes to the bench. Mashmeyer covers up, and this is right where you talked about where you'd likely see a timeout from Boston College. We'll see with the top line out there, and now the Eagles call that timeout. Well, partner, you had that one read from the start. Gonna put you on the spot again. If you're Boston College, what are you drawing up here to try and find that equalizing goal and get something past Mashmeyer?
Well, let's see. They've really been kept on the perimeter here. Harvard is just packing it in, saying, we'll let you get that shot from about 20 feet away. Here's the last few flurries here. This is one of the better looks, how close they've gotten in lately. But you see the rebounds. 1, 2, 3 Crimson right there to cover up on the rebounds. If you're BC, you gotta hope you get a bounce your way and send bodies in front and jam at those rebounds. Mashmeyer's made some great saves. There's been some juicy rebounds, but the Crimson have been able to swipe them away. You get the extra attacker on here. Now that's another body you can throw up front to go about that.
You mentioned how Harvard has been packing it in around goal and wiping away those rebounds. Crimson have blocked 10 shots today, 5 in this third period from Josephine Pucci, who has just been outstanding. The strength of this Harvard team is experienced and world-class level defensemen. And today they have done their part against the nation's top offense. They've held BC to 3.5 goals below its season average with just 49 seconds to go. The Eagle net is empty. Boston College trying to remain the only undefeated team in the country in either men's or women's Division I hockey. Riding a 25-game winning streak, 27-0-1 on the year, but down to Harvard in the final 50 seconds. Kept in by Bender at the blue line. Skarupa turns with it. She has scored some big goals in the past couple weeks. The winner last week, a goal already today. Wrist shot through traffic, bounces around, juicy rebound. Mashmeyer turns one aside. This comes to the point, and a diving play by Edney sends it back to Falzer. Delayed call coming, and it is going on Lexi Bender of Boston College. Bender knocked Edney down, and the Eagles will go short-handed with 26 seconds to play.
Boy, oh boy. Here's the look from Falzer that gets all the opportunity in front. So many bodies, and at that point, really hard to get the puck to go your way. You see the penalty come here at the end. Falzer just, no, we didn't see it there, but Falzer bumps Edney from behind. Or excuse me, Bender, I beg your pardon, bumps Edney from behind. And, man, barring some really miraculous play here, BC really up against it now. Penalties have been costly for them. Not only the 5-minute majors, say what you will about that, they have shot themselves in front of a lot of penalties in this game.
Interference on Bender. It's the 6th Boston College penalty. Eagles have to try and take chances short-handed. Just 12 seconds to go in this Beanpot final. Carpenter, a stretch pass for Skarupa. This is too long out in front of her. Officials blow icing dead, but Boston College was shorthanded. The officials tag BC with icing, even though the Eagles are shorthanded 5-on-4, and that brings the face-off out to center ice instead of allowing Haley Skarupa to get to the puck.
Not forget, we're down to 3 officials as well. One of the linesmen got clipped. Oh, back out, I beg your pardon. So, really no excuse for that.
Face-off knocked back to the BC end, and Harvard has knocked off undefeated Boston College. The Crimson win their 14th Beanpot championship. Katie Stone pumping her fist as Harvard is the first team to beat BC this season. Somehow, Nick, they hold on to a 3-2 heart stopper down the stretch.
If you think back to how this game started, BC came out blitzing Harvard, and we were wondering if this might just turn into a blowout with the way the game started. Crimson calmed down, settled into the game, and when they got that goal back, a nice juicy rebound, right place, right time, gave them some confidence. They brought the physicality in the second and third period, really in the third period. How about Josephine Pucci? Her blocks, the defense as a whole, really propelled them, and BC held to just 2 goals. Remarkable to hold this offense to that number.
30 saves for Emmerich Mashmeyer, a whole lot of help on a team effort defensively for the Crimson. The game-winning goal belongs to Mie Dench, her 14th of the year. Harvard also gets goals from Heffernan and Parker. BC settles for goals from Anastas and Skarupa, and a second-place finish in this year's Beanpot. The Eagles, for the first time, lose this season. They're just 27-1-1. Still, the odds-on favorites come March, but this is a big win in Harvard's sails to move them forward down the stretch.
Remember how slow Harvard was to start this season, and they have just continued to get better, and now such a great win considering how well they've been playing. You've gotten all these players going, gelling with together. You have so many pieces that didn't play last year and now playing this year. You've got Armstrong, you've got Pucci, you've got Picard back, Fry's back. So many different moving parts, and Katie Stone's been able to mesh it all together here at the most important time of the year.
Now the hosts have won 3 consecutive Beanpots. Harvard moves to 19-4-2. And now we'll join the public address announcer here at the Brighton Landry Hockey Center, Andy Jick, for the trophy presentation.
Please direct your attention to the center ice for the Women's Beanpot Championship Award Ceremony, and we welcome the Executive Director of the Women's Beanpot Tournament, Joe Bertagna. Our first award tonight is the Bertagna Goaltending Award, presented annually to the most outstanding goaltender in the Women's Beanpot, as selected by members of the media. The 2015 recipient from Harvard is goaltender Emmerich Mashmeyer. Members of the media have also selected the most valuable player in this year's Beanpot. A junior goaltender from Harvard, the 2015 Women's Beanpot Most Valuable Player, Emmerich Mashmeyer. And now, for the 37th time, we have a Women's Beanpot champion. Please welcome Coach Katie Stone and the captains of the Harvard Crimson, Michelle Picard, Kaylee Armstrong, and Samantha Reaver from Harvard, your 2015 Women's Beanpot champions. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for the runner-up Boston College Eagles and the champion of the 2015 Women's Beanpot, your Harvard University Crimson. A reminder, ladies and gentlemen, Harvard women's hockey will be back in action
today for Harvard. The Crimson do what nobody else has done this year, beat Boston College. Make your final thoughts on this tremendous women's hockey game and a great tournament here at Brent Landry over the past 2 weeks.
It's just making me excited for conference tournaments and the NCAAs. One of the best women's college hockey games you'll see this year. The intensity throughout this game, great crowd on hand. Really everything you could have wanted. Great goaltending, great play. Players brought everything tonight, and really, if either team won, it would have been well-deserved, and very well-deserved for the Harvard Crimson to knock off undefeated BC.
Crimson get goals from Mary Parker, Carly Heffernan, and Mie Dench. 30 saves as well from Emmerich Manschmeyer. Boston College falls to 28-0-1. Harvard moves to 19-4-2 and wins its 14th Beanpot Championship. That'll do it from here at the Brent Landry Hockey Center from my partner Nick Cope. This is Bill Spalding. Boston College loses to Harvard 3-2. This has been a presentation of ESPN.